Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Myself, Professor Mini Sheth at the Department of Foods and Nutrition, Faculty of Family and Community Sciences, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. I shall be presenting a talk on nutrition during adulthood. After going through this module, you will be able to understand the heterogeneous adulthood and varied nutrition needs, and also about the implications of lifestyle on health and diseases. Nutrition during adulthood mainly focuses on the most heterogeneous age group, that is the adulthood, and the age group varies from 18 to 60 years, having various categories such as the young adults and the older adults. An array of evidences indicate that it is the adulthood that decides the quality of life and life expectancy. If early prevention is the goal and nutrition is the key factor, the outcome naturally improves. Research has been indicating that a positive change at any stage and lifestyle modifications can make a change in the total health and wellness. Adults are often the prime targets of health and nutritional professionals. They are, however, most vulnerable to misinformation and misguidance based on false promises and quick fixes. It is therefore very important to approach these people with strategies and guidance that fit in their needs of health and fitness and feasibility of implementing the same. The nutritional professionals should be updated with all the current researches and recommendations while potentially motivating the clients towards their feasibility. In an internet savvy world, where all the information, misfortune is available at fingertips, this becomes even more a challenge. It has been observed that adults who seek nutrition knowledge and positive lifestyle change the face certain barriers like time, apparent mixed messages, lack of willpower, and identifying the efficacy of messages. Consumers generally want to know what to eat rather than what to avoid. On a positive note, there is an emerging evidence that there is growing interest among adults in healthy cooking practices, cookbooks, grocery shopping lists, farm to table events, organic foods, and farming and other food behaviors. The nutritional professionals can render a positive influence in nutrition education and advocacy, having prevention as their prime focus. Awareness on nutritional professionals' part regarding the current trends, consumer awareness and available food sources and changing eating behaviors is of equal importance. Now, let us learn about quality of life and work-life balance. The health related quality of life is a concept used by the Center for Disease Control to measure the effect of person's current health condition on quality of everyday life. The CDC measures the HRQOL along with perception of feeling healthy. It was observed that adults feel unhealthy for about 6 days a month and healthy for 90 days a month. Lower incomes and more chronic diseases reported more healthy days. Adults are now being urged to set a goal for work-life balance. This includes a need to emphasize on stress reduction techniques, relaxation techniques, incorporating self-cooking rather than buying ready-to-eat foods, taking out time to hit the gym or to go for a walk, actively seeing the nutrition guidelines, reducing the screen time, increasing social interactions, consuming all the meals regularly and not skipping any of the meals. Another area for the dietetic professionals to explore is mental health link, which also acts as one of the key barriers or factors in promoting healthy work-life balance. A positive wellness focuses in adults is who are themselves caregivers, coaches, employers, teachers, parents, and this can go a long way in improving the health of not only themselves but also other people in their sphere of influence. It is therefore important for us to understand the lifestyle related risk factors. A survey by CDC showed that even though the life expectancy has increased over the years, there is still a need to lay emphasis on risk factors influencing the morbidity and the mortality. Some of the leading causes of death include heart disease, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, accidents, and Alzheimer diseases. Also, the NCDs such as diabetes and its complication including the renal disorders and are also included in this. The chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, diabetes and cancer are expensive and yet preventable. They account for almost 1/3 of all the medical cost of the older adults and geriatric populations. These health issues have a direct link to lifestyle and diet. Overweight and obesity are either the precursors or one of the complications of these diseases. The dual burden of malnutrition has raised a challenging increase in the incidence of higher BMI, which is a major risk factor for hyperlipidemia, hypertension, elevated blood sugar levels, all of which are linked to metabolic syndrome. Understanding women's health is also a very important issue as it undergoes a significant change right from the reproductive years till the old age. This is mostly related to hormonal shifts during the menstrual cycle, conception and breastfeeding. Breastfeeding helps control weight, reduces the risk of certain cancers, improves bone health and lowers the risk of diabetes. Women's reproductive health is mainly affected by estrogen and progesterone. With menses, a complex set of mental and physical symptoms occur, commonly termed as premenstrual syndromes, and this causes a general discomfort, pain, sweating, depression, anxiety and cramps. There is no individual cause or intervention currently identified for premenstrual symptoms. However, it has been observed that there are neurotransmitters, synthetic defects, hormonal imbalances, low levels of certain nutrients such as vitamin B6, calcium, etc. that can influence this. A diet high in simple carbs and sodium has also been implicated for the temporary period, but efficacy is not yet established. A greater emphasis is laid on the consumption of complex carbohydrates like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy products, soy proteins and lean meats, which may help to alleviate the premenstrual symptoms. Various relaxation techniques and exercises are also recommended for the pain relief. It is only when the menses and either naturally or because of surgical removal of reproductive organ, women have different health and nutrition concerns. The onset of perimenopause and menopause is typically in the late 40s, but there are various reasons governing the same like age of the onset of menses, genetics and overall health. Estrogen production typically reduces by 60% around the age of 50, and thus the symptoms of menopause occur after this age, such as the low energy levels, hot flushes, reduced bone mineral density, dyslipidemia, and memory changes. Some of the nutrients that play an important role during menopausal years are calcium, and as estrogen plays an intricate role in bone health, calcium deficiency is observed during menopausal years. Women experience their greatest bone depletion in the initial 5 years following menopause. The food sources rich in calcium include milk, milk products, sesame seeds, spinach, mustard, greens, tofu, yogurt, beans, and so on. The other nutrients important for bone health include magnesium and vitamin K. Vitamin D is also a very important nutrient. The skin is also drier after menopause and does not process vitamin D obtained through the sunlight as efficiently as it used to. Without a sufficient amount of vitamin D, your body cannot properly absorb its calcium intake. Vitamin D intake thus helps with mood disorders, autoimmune problems, and prevention of certain cancers, in addition to keeping the bones healthy. The best solution for adequate vitamin D is exposure to sunlight between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. for 20 minutes. Plant-based foods that contain isoflavones are phytoestrogens and are some of the plant phytoestrogens that work in the body like a weak form of estrogen and may help to relieve the menopausal symptoms in some women. Some of their effects include lowering cholesterol levels, relieving hot flushes, and night sweats. Sources of phytoestrogens include soybeans, soy products, flax seeds, sesame seeds, berries, fenugreek, oats, barley, beans, lentils, yams, apples, carrots, pomegranates, wheat germ, rice bran, coffee, mint, fennel seeds, beans, etc. Even though soy is recommended for hot flushes, the current research is not enough to support this evidence. Boron, another trace mineral, is also important during menopause because it increases the body's ability to absorb and hold on to estrogen and vitamin D. Some fruits and vegetables that are good sources of boron and estrogen include plums, prunes, strawberries, apples, tomatoes, pear, grapes, grapefruit, oranges, cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, cucumber, lettuce, orange, onions, soybean, and sweet potatoes. 3.5 ounce of almonds, prunes, or raisins each contain about 2 milligrams of boron. Asparagus, cabbage, figs, peaches, strawberries are also good sources of boron. Recent studies have also shown that folic acid consumption reduces the incidences of hot flushes and breast cancer in post-menopausal women. Recommended doses are 400 micrograms per day. The sources of folate include spinach, broccoli, mustard greens, papaya, orange, strawberry, lentils, black beans, kidney beans, green peas, lady fingers, peanuts, flax seeds, cauliflower, beet, corn, a whole cooked egg. Consuming foods rich in essential fatty acids like omega-3 fatty acids have also been shown to reduce vaginal dryness. Another important vitamin during postmenopausal is vitamin E. It is important as many clinical studies have shown its effect on reducing hot flushes. Vitamin E is also important for vaginal dryness, Although most women fear breast cancer, our biggest killer is heart disease. Vitamin E is a potential antioxidant and it protects our heart and reduces atherosclerosis risk. Researchers say that vitamin E is even more effective than aspirin in reducing heart attacks. The key message for nutritional professionals is to recommend a balanced food intake and nutrient dense foods that are low in simple carbs and fats, along with personal assessment and catering to individual needs. Now let us look at some of the factors that affect men's health. The leading cause for death in males include heart disease, lung cancer, unintentional injuries and prostate cancer. For adult men, a regular exercise along with diet support that helps in preventing heart disease is important as they are more prone at younger ages as compared to the females. Additionally, along with the cardiovascular exercises, weight bearing exercises also help positively in bone health. A nutrient of interest which is of importance in adult male is iron. This is because adult men and post-menopausal women do not lose iron from the body, but if they consume more than RDA via supplements, that poses a risk as iron is an oxidant. Let us now have an overview of nutritional supplementation for adults. The best nutritional strategy to promote optimal health while reducing the health risk factors for various diseases is a diet that is rich in nutrient dense foods. Additionally, consumption of fortified foods or supplements may also help some people to meet their nutritional needs as per the RDA, if they are otherwise not able to meet through food. Generally, supplements in the form of capsules, tablets or powders are most commonly available for nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, fiber and protein. However, yet another interesting as well as emerging area of nutrition supplementation is food fortification. In the recent times, fortified foods are easily available in the markets such as vitamin fortified cooking oils, probiotics, added dairy foods, fiber fortified cookies, etc. It is thus very important for the consumer to read the nutritional fact panels and other information on food labels to know the potential nutrient sources used for fortification and the amounts of nutrients as seen in the nutrition facts panels. These fortified foods become useful for several vulnerable groups who are not able to meet their nutritional needs, such as the chronically ill patients, alcoholics, drug abusers, pregnant females, food insecurity, illness recovery or deliberate food nutrient restrictions. Other people who need fortified foods or nutritional supplements include people with metabolic disorders such as lactose intolerance or malabsorption syndrome, food allergies, certain medicines used that alters a specific nutrition metabolism, etc. Now let us look at the importance of functional foods for adults. First of all, let us understand what are functional foods. Functional foods are those having benefits beyond their nutritive value. They include the foods that can be whole, enriched, fortified or enhanced by other additives. They exhibit a potential benefit only when consumed on a regular basis in given amounts. Adults are often interested in attaining and maintaining a healthy lifestyle and thus prefer foods that have additional health benefits in addition to the original quality of the food product. The desire for lesser calories and having additional nutrient benefits is an important factor in driving the functional food market. Functional foods at large belong to classes such as fruits and vegetables, nuts and oilseeds, spices and condiments, some particular fishes, whole grains, pre and probiotics. Consumption of functional foods has got following benefits. It lowers cholesterol levels, aids in maintaining blood sugar levels, act as antioxidant to scavenge the free radicals, promote a healthy gut, improves immunity, stimulates detoxification enzyme activity in the liver. To begin with, adults who do not have any major health problem can benefit from a well-balanced diet that includes all the major food groups, that is, by following the My Plate concept. Some components of the functional foods include phytochemicals and phytonutrients, that are the components in plants that are biologically active and render natural defense mechanism to their host and protect against microbial infection, thereby enhancing immunity. There are more than 2000 such components identified. The most common ones include anthocyanins, anthocyanins, flavonoids, carotenoids, etc. On regular consumption, adults can have various health benefits, including the benefits of antioxidant, detoxification, anti-inflammation effects. Now, moving on to understanding the term physical work capacity in adults and its measurement. Physical work capacity is the ability of an individual to perform maximum physical work with respect to age, gender, body weight and heart rate. It is the function of intensity and duration of work. Thus, it is different for each individual as each person has different aerobic and anaerobic endurance with its own limitations. Aerobic work capacity is mostly considered in practice. Rockport Fitness Walking Test estimation for VO2 max takes into consideration variables such as age, gender, body weight, as well as the heart rate at the end of a mile. The heart rate of 170 beats per minute is usually considered as the physical work capacity for an untrained adult. 130 and 150 beats per minute physical work capacity are also common. The heart disease patients are often not able to exceed 75 beats per minute. With age, there occurs a progressive decline in different components of physical work capacity, such as the anaerobic endurance, muscular strength and tolerance of thermal stress. Regular exercise, weight control, avoidance of smoking are some of the factors that help in controlling a part of this loss. Athletes who are regularly trained eventually show a substantial decline in physical work function and competitive performance, which show a decline in their cardiovascular endurance, a decline in muscular strength and a progressive impairment of heat tolerance. Theoretically, overworked heart and skeletal muscles could be a reason that leads to a decrease in their productivity. This may manifest into worker fatigue such as absenteeism at workplace, accidents, increased susceptibility to musculoskeletal injuries, heart attacks and strokes. Hence, to summarize, this module has helped us to understand the heterogeneous adulthood and varying nutritional needs at each stage in both men and women, and also about implications of lifestyle disorders on health and diseases. Thank you.